The void of space stretched like an endless black canvas, dotted with distant stars that blinked coldly as if indifferent to the fate of entire worlds. From the observation deck of Orbital Station Sigma 9, Commander James Whittaker gazed out at the Earth beneath him, a swirling sphere of blues and greens that seemed impossibly fragile against the cosmic abyss. His fingers curled around the railing, knuckles white, as a weight settled on his chest, a weight he hadn't felt in decades. Something was coming. Something that would change the course of human history. Lieutenant Sarah Monroe approached quietly, her boots clanging softly against the metal floor. She had grown up on stories of humanity's victories in the solar system, the wars, the explorers, the narrow victories that had kept Earth alive when colonists had ventured into hostile stars. Yet now, facing the unknown, she felt the same fear that James had learned to bury long ago. "Commander," she said, her voice steady but threaded with tension. "Are you sure about this?" James didn't answer right away. His eyes were locked on the holographic projection floating before him, a three-dimensional map of the prototype warship orbiting silently above the planet. Its silhouette was elegant, impossibly sleek, and distinctly alien in its design, a fusion of human ingenuity and technology that even the greatest engineers had once doubted. "This ship," James said finally, his voice low and reverent, "was never meant for war. It was a prototype, an experiment, something we shelved decades ago. And yet here it is, alive and awake." Sarah swallowed hard, her throat tight. "But, if it was ignored for this long, why now? Why are we only seeing it now?" James shook his head. "I don't know. But whatever awakened it, it chose this moment. And when it acts, the galaxy will see it." Below them, hidden from casual detection, the prototype thrummed with latent energy. Sensors picked up low-frequency pulses, subtle, almost imperceptible vibrations, but enough to send a ripple of tension through the station's control room. Light shimmered along the ship's contours, bending in ways that defied known physics. In the past, this warship had been nothing more than a ghost in the archives, schematics and theoretical designs buried in forgotten storage bays. Now, it pulsed with life. Dr. Lucas Reed, one of the original engineers who had worked on the project 50 years ago, adjusted his glasses nervously as he observed the readings. His voice cracked over the comlink. I didn't think we'd ever see this. The energy output, it's beyond anything we simulated. This isn't just a warship. It's a weapon unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen." James leaned forward, his gaze unwavering. "Lucas, can it be controlled? Can it defend Earth if the Council's fleets decide to attack?" Lucas hesitated, sweat beading on his forehead. I don't know. It's almost as if it has awareness. It's responding to us, to the station, to something beyond our understanding." A tremor ran through the station as if the warship itself acknowledged their conversation. Then, an incoming transmission appeared on the holoscreen, signals from the Grand Armada of the Galactic Council. Thousands of ships, the mightiest forces in known space, were converging on Earth. Tens of thousands of vessels bristling with weapons capable of destroying worlds, now approaching with a speed and precision that left no room for negotiation. James's jaw tightened. "So they've noticed. Good. Let them come. They don't know what's waiting for them." Sarah's eyes widened as tactical projections filled her visor. "Commander, the fleets are enormous. Their numbers." James cut her off, voice hard, unflinching. "Numbers don't matter. Skill, strategy, and what we have, Sarah, is something they didn't even know existed." In the hangars below, the prototype glimmered like a sleeping predator. Energy flares traced its sleek hull as thrusters subtly aligned for activation. This was no ordinary ship, it was decades ahead of its time, a culmination of human innovation, ignored by bureaucrats and scholars alike, left to collect dust in orbital archives. And yet, now, in the face of annihilation, it had awakened. Lucas muttered under his breath as he analyzed the energy spikes. "It's alive. I don't mean that metaphorically. The systems, the reactors, it's like it can think, respond, anticipate. It's not just a machine. It's aware." Sarah looked at James, fear and awe mingling in her expression. If that's true, if it really can think, do we even have control? James's eyes narrowed. We don't control it. But we don't need to. We only need to survive long enough for it to do what it was designed for. And trust me, it knows its purpose. A sudden alert pierced the silence, the first signals of alien ships breaking through the outer perimeter. The Grand Armada was closer now than anyone had dared predict. Massive warships, impossibly large, bristling with weapons capable of erasing continents in a single salvo, moved with chilling precision. Alien command signals, encrypted and terrifyingly sophisticated, rippled across the station's communication arrays. Sarah's voice quivered as she relayed the incoming fleet's data. Commander, they're fast. Faster than any simulations predicted. And their formations, they're flawless. James's eyes hardened, jaw tight. Let them come. They'll find out the hard way that humanity doesn't negotiate under threat. Humanity fights. And this is the fight we never expected to have, with the weapon we never expected to wield. Below, the prototype's hull pulsed with light. Energy surged through it like a heartbeat, thrusters ready, weapons systems aligning. It wasn't just waiting, it was aware of the threat, preparing to act with deadly precision. All the engineers' calculations, all the forgotten blueprints, had led to this singular moment. Lucas Reed whispered, almost to himself, eyes wide with a mix of fear and wonder. After all these years, it's ready. The prototype, it's alive, and it knows its mission. And now, so do we. The station shook as the first alien signals entered sensor range. Tactical screens flared with the presence of enemy squadrons, destroyers, cruisers, carriers, thousands of warships converging from light years away, their intent unmistakable. They came not to negotiate, not to observe, they came to annihilate. James Whittaker drew in a slow, controlled breath. Sarah. Lucas, listen carefully. We are the last line of defense. This ship, it is more than any fleet. It is our legacy, our guardian. And when the time comes, it will speak in a language the galaxy has never heard before, fire and steel. Sarah swallowed, her heart pounding in her chest. And if we fail? James's gaze didn't waver from the prototype. We won't fail. Because this isn't just a ship. It's the wrath of humanity in its purest form. The galaxy may have ignored it for decades, but no one ignores it now. Outside, Earth rotated silently beneath them, oblivious to the storm about to descend. And somewhere in the darkness of orbit, a forgotten prototype waited, ready to awaken, ready to change the balance of the cosmos forever. The first pulse of energy shimmered along its hull, a silent signal that the era of human wrath had begun. And in that moment, Commander James Whittaker knew one undeniable truth: the galaxy would never underestimate Earth again. The darkness of space became a stage for devastation. The Grand Armada had arrived, thousands of ships stretching across the void, their hulls bristling with weaponry designed to erase worlds. From the observation deck of Orbital Station Sigma 9, Commander James Whittaker watched the alien formation advance like an unstoppable tide, a mechanical ocean of death converging on Earth. Lieutenant Sarah Monroe stood beside him, her visor reflecting streams of incoming data. Each blip was a ship, and there were thousands. The Grand Armada's command cruisers, massive vessels that dwarfed entire human cities, led the fleet, their plasma turrets glowing ominously. In the silence of the station, the enormity of the threat weighed like lead on the crew's shoulders. Commander, Sarah said, her voice trembling, they're beyond anything we've trained for. Every simulation we ran, this is worse. James Whittaker's jaw tightened. Simulations don't matter anymore. What matters is the one thing they didn't account for. The weapon they thought was forgotten. Below them, the prototype warship pulsed with latent power. Its hull shimmered with a strange iridescence, thrusters subtly adjusting in orbit as if it were alive, calculating, aware. It wasn't just a machine, it was a sentinel, a guardian of humanity, awakened after decades of neglect. And now, it prepared to strike. Lucas, give me a status report, James ordered. Dr. Lucas Reed's hands flew across the console. Sweat beaded on his brow as he analyzed energy readings streaming faster than any human brain could fully comprehend. The systems are operating beyond theoretical maximums. The energy cores, they're fully charged. Weapons are online. Targeting arrays are instantaneous. Whatever intelligence is guiding this ship, it's precise, deadly, and aware of every threat. Sarah's eyes widened. Are we saying it can think? Lucas swallowed hard. It's not just thinking. It's anticipating. Every incoming trajectory, every possible evasive maneuver, it's already calculating before they even fire. A sudden tremor shook the station as the first alien signals reached sensor range. Plumes of ionized particles streaked across space as destroyers moved into position, launching the first salvo of plasma torpedoes and ion cannons. They expected fear, hesitation, and surrender. They were wrong. James exhaled slowly. Now we find out what it's capable of. The prototype moved like a shadow predator, sleek and deliberate. Its first strike was almost surgical. An energy beam lanced out from its forward array, cutting through a cruiser's armor as if it were paper. Explosions erupted in the void, fiery clouds spreading outward, and the remaining ships faltered as panic rippled through their ranks. On the station, Sarah's voice trembled as she narrated the unfolding carnage. Commander, they're obliterating them. The cruiser, gone. And the rest, they're scattering, or exploding. I've never seen anything like this. Lucas Reed covered his mouth, eyes wide. It's beautiful. And terrifying. Every strike is calculated. Every move, precise. This is more than a prototype. It's a force of nature. James remained calm, his eyes fixed on the holographic display of the prototype. It's doing exactly what we hoped it would. Not just fighting. Erasing. Teaching the galaxy what happens when they underestimate humanity. The alien command ships tried to regroup, firing salvo after salvo. Plasma bursts lanced through space, light reflecting off the prototype's hull, yet none of the attacks made contact. Shields flared and absorbed every strike. The aliens, for the first time in their history, realized that brute force alone would not win this battle. In the observation deck, tension hung like a living thing. James's hands gripped the railing. Keep scanning for weak points, Lucas. We need to know what, if anything, could stop it. Lucas shook his head, pale. There isn't one. Not a single system in their arsenal can breach those shields. Not a missile, not a plasma cannon, not even coordinated barrages from multiple ships. It's untouchable. Hours passed in a brutal rhythm of fire and destruction. Entire squadrons were obliterated before they could react, their wreckage drifting silently through the void. The Grand Armada's admirals bellowed commands, but communication had broken down. Confusion spread faster than fire, ships collided, panic-stricken pilots made fatal errors, and the prototype cut through them like a blade through silk. Sarah gasped, unable to look away. Commander, it's annihilation. Thousands of ships, gone. There she choked, her voice barely audible over the chaos. James nodded slowly, his face set with grim satisfaction. Good. Let them see what humanity is capable of. Let them understand that every arrogance, every underestimate, comes with consequences. The prototype moved with a terrifying elegance, energy beams slicing through cruisers, carriers, and destroyers. Firestorms erupted where massive vessels had once floated, turning entire battlefields of space into glowing debris. And yet the warship remained untouched, a silent predator among prey. It was no longer a tool. It was a reckoning. Lucas Reed whispered, barely audible, voice trembling. I never imagined it could do this outside the simulations. Every strike, calculated. Every maneuver, perfect. It's alive. And it knows exactly what it's doing. Hours stretched into a crescendo of destruction. The Grand Armada's last formations attempted retreat, but the prototype pursued with relentless precision. Squadrons were wiped out mid-flight, massive command vessels exploded in chains of fiery debris. The galaxy's mightiest fleet had been reduced to nothing. Sarah's voice, trembling with awe, relayed the final status reports. Sir, the Grand Armada, it's gone. Almost every ship, destroyed. They can't recover from this. James Whittaker exhaled, his expression stoic. No. Nothing survives this. Not them, not their fleets. The prototype, it has done its job. The prototype hovered silently above Earth, energy cores dimming slightly, as if resting after a symphony of destruction. It was not a warship anymore. It was a statement, a message written in fire and steel, etched into the void: underestimate humanity at your peril. Lucas Reed muttered, voice shaking, we've changed the balance of power. Forever. Sarah turned to James, her expression pale but resolute. They will remember this. Every species, every civilization, they'll remember the day humanity fought back with a single ship. James's eyes remained fixed on the wreckage field, a mixture of relief, awe, and dread weighing on him. And they should remember. We didn't send fleets. We didn't negotiate. We let the galaxy see what happens when they ignore us, and what they face when they awaken a weapon they thought obsolete. Outside, Earth rotated silently beneath the calm blue sky, oblivious to the apocalyptic firestorm in orbit. The prototype warship shimmered faintly in the sunlight, a guardian that had been ignored for decades, now a terrifying force of reckoning. The Grand Armada had come to annihilate humanity. And humanity had answered, not with numbers, not with diplomacy, but with the wrath of a weapon they had never expected to wield. James Whittaker turned to his officers, voice steady and commanding despite the weight of what they had witnessed. Send the data to every command post in the solar system. Let them know what we are. Humanity is no longer a backwater. Humanity is a storm. And the galaxy just saw the first strike. Lucas Reed shook his head, eyes wide with awe. We've unleashed something the galaxy wasn't ready for. Sarah Monroe nodded slowly, a chill running down her spine. And it's just the beginning. The prototype hummed softly, a living monument of engineering, intelligence, and rage. It had awakened from its decades of dormancy. It had obliterated the mightiest fleet the galaxy had ever assembled. And it had spoken a single, undeniable truth: Earth would not be ignored again. The void was silent once more, save for the drifting wreckage of a defeated armada. But in that silence, a new era was born, a galaxy forever changed by a single, forgotten warship, and the humans who had dared to awaken it. When the first light of Earth's sun pierced the thin veil of orbital clouds, the silence of space was deafening. The Grand Armada, the galaxy's mightiest fleet, the armada that had once promised annihilation, was no more. Thousands of alien vessels, the pride of civilizations, drifted as burning wrecks through the void, their twisted metal glowing like dying embers against the backdrop of stars. And at the center of it all, hovering above Earth, was the prototype warship, sleek and untouchable, its hull shimmering in the sunlight, reflecting a world that had survived against impossible odds. Commander James Whittaker stood on the observation deck of Orbital Station Sigma 9, staring at the field of debris with a mixture of awe, relief, and a weighty realization. The galaxy had underestimated humanity again, but the cost of this lesson had been colossal. Not in human lives Earth had miraculously been spared, but in responsibility. The prototype was not just a weapon, it was a living testament to power that humanity could barely comprehend, a force now awakened and aware. Lieutenant Sarah Monroe joined him, her eyes scanning the scattered wreckage through the high-definition viewport. "Commander, it's finished," she whispered. The word felt hollow in the oppressive silence, but it carried the full gravity of what had occurred. "They're gone. Every ship. Every command cruiser. The Grand Armada, obliterated." James exhaled slowly, tension leaving his body only slightly. "Gone," he echoed, the single word tasting strange and final. "And they'll remember. Every civilization in this sector will remember what happened here. Humanity is no longer a backwater. We're something else now." In the station's engineering bay, Dr. Lucas Reed stared at the energy readouts from the prototype, still streaming live. His hands shook slightly as he ran them over the console. "It's unbelievable. The power it unleashed, it wasn't just force. It was strategy. Every strike was precise, every move calculated. This was a sentient weapon. a guardian, and now, a legend. Sarah's gaze drifted back to Earth. And the galaxy knows it. They'll be afraid. Maybe even respectful. She swallowed hard. But respect can turn to fear. And fear can lead to war. James's eyes hardened. He had expected this. We need to be ready. This warship, it's not a tool we can control like a normal vessel. It has its own instincts, its own intelligence. It fought not for orders, not for strategy boards, it fought for survival. And it knows its purpose better than any of us. Lucas muttered, almost to himself, it's more than we ever dreamed. The simulations, the designs, they never accounted for what it could become when fully realized. Alive. Thinking. Choosing its targets. Every move was intentional, lethal, perfect. James turned to them, voice calm but resonant with authority. Then we don't need to command it. We need to understand it. Learn from it. Respect it. Because this prototype just changed the balance of power across the galaxy. Forever. Outside, the wreckage of the alien armada drifted silently, punctuated by occasional explosions from destabilized reactors or fuel cores igniting in the cold of space. The prototype hovered above, shields dimming slightly, energy cores pulsing in a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. It had spoken, it had acted, and now it waited, watchful, silent, yet undeniably alive. James turned back to the viewport, jaw tight. Earth itself, we've preserved it. But the galaxy, they'll come back. They always do. The Grand Armada was only the beginning. What we've unleashed, they'll never forgive. And some will come with weapons we can't even imagine. Sarah's voice was quiet, almost fearful. And if they come? If they attack again? James's gaze was unwavering, resolute. Then we have the storm on our side. Humanity didn't send fleets this time. Humanity sent the weapon no one believed in, the one they ignored for decades. And it chose to awaken when the galaxy thought it was safe to strike. That's our strength. And that's our warning. Lucas Reed's voice shook as he added, it's not just a warship anymore. It's a testament. To human ingenuity, to perseverance, to survival. The galaxy will remember it. We'll remember it. And we'll have to live with what it represents. The silence that followed was thick, almost sacred. For the first time in decades, humanity was unchallenged in its immediate survival, yet the weight of the future pressed down harder than ever. The prototype had ensured their victory, but it had also awakened a force that could not be contained. James spoke finally, his voice cutting through the stillness. Prepare the report. Every leader, every command post, every fleet, send the data. The galaxy needs to understand that Earth is awake. Humanity is no longer a threat to be negotiated with or ignored. We are a storm, and we just proved it. Sarah nodded, fingers flying over her console, sending encrypted transmissions across the solar system. They'll know, sir. Every civilization out there, they'll know. Lucas shook his head again, in disbelief and awe. We've done something irreversible. This prototype, it's a legend in the making. The galaxy won't forget this day. And neither will we. James exhaled slowly, watching the prototype pulse softly against the backdrop of Earth. No, he said. They won't forget. And neither will humanity. This ship, it's not just our weapon. It's our warning. Our legacy. And it will define the next era of human history. The warship's hull gleamed in the first rays of the sun, an unspoken testament to human ingenuity, to the audacity of creation, and to the wrath that lay dormant in the galaxy's most underestimated species. The aliens had come thinking Earth was insignificant. They had come thinking that humanity would surrender. They had been wrong. And now, the galaxy itself had learned a lesson written in fire, steel, and energy beams. To underestimate humanity was to court annihilation. James Whittaker turned to Sarah and Lucas, his voice low but commanding, filled with the quiet authority of a man who had witnessed history. We need to protect it, understand it, and ensure it remains our guardian, not a threat we cannot control. The prototype fought for Earth. And it will continue to be our shield, our deterrent. But we must remember, power like this comes with responsibility. Sarah swallowed, her eyes wide, reflecting both awe and fear. And the rest of the galaxy? They'll think twice, James said quietly. Every civilization, every fleet, they'll understand that Earth is awake. And we are not to be ignored. Not now, not ever. Lucas Reed's gaze lingered on the prototype, a mixture of reverence and terror in his voice. We've unleashed something that will shape every war, every alliance, every negotiation for centuries. This is the dawn of a new era. Outside, the wreckage of the Grand Armada drifted endlessly, a silent monument to the cost of arrogance and the power of a species they had ignored. The prototype hummed softly, as if acknowledging its place in history, as if the universe itself had paused to witness the triumph of a single, overlooked creation. James turned back to the viewport one last time, watching Earth glow beneath the first morning light. Humanity has survived. Humanity has triumphed. And humanity will endure. This prototype, this weapon, is more than a guardian. It is a statement. To the galaxy, to our enemies, and to ourselves, Earth is awake. And it will not be ignored. As the sun rose higher, casting golden light over the warship's hull, James Whittaker knew that this day would be remembered for eons. Not for the fear it instilled, nor the destruction it wrought, but for the undeniable truth it revealed. The galaxy had witnessed the power of human ingenuity, determination, and survival instinct embodied in a single, forgotten prototype that had become legend. The prototype warship thrummed softly, a pulse of energy that resonated through orbit, across continents, and deep into the hearts of all who gazed upon it. Humanity had emerged victorious, not with fleets, not with armies, but with a force the galaxy had never expected, a sentinel born of human intellect, ambition, and defiance. And as the last remnants of alien vessels drifted into the void, one undeniable fact remained: the era of humanity's insignificance had ended. A new era had begun, an era defined by the awakening of a single, unparalleled warship, and the humans who had dared to unleash it. The galaxy would never forget.